This is a time for you to reflect on what you want. Okay. You have been given the gift of time for you to be introspective, for you to reflect on what career you want. Where do you want to go in your career path? What is your ideal career? You need to ask yourself and reflect on these questions. Okay, so this is a good time for you to reflect on those things. Okay, so now that we have identified the realities of what's currently happening, I would be sharing you some strategies for you to apply in your career search. Okay, this can be applied to graduating students and even studying students. Okay, why by the time that you would be pursuing your internships, this can be applied for you. Okay, so the first thing is this is going to be called a strategic career search. Okay, the first thing that you need to do is you need to customize your profile. Okay, or as what I call it, a targeted resume. Okay, so a targeted resume is an achievement based or an achievement-oriented profile. So it highlights your accomplishments that are relevant to the post or the opportunity that you are aiming for. Okay, so that's the idea. I want you not just to create a typical profile, but I want you to create a targeted resume that highlights your achievements, your skills, your expertise, what you can possibly bring onto the organization. And through that targeted resume, it gives you better chances of you being noticed by the hiring decision makers. Okay, so don't just make a typical resume, make a targeted resume. And we will have this discussed later on by the time I've reached the part in which I would be teaching you or sharing you ideas on how to make a good profile. Number two is you need to know your career goals. Okay, you need to ask yourself, what type of career do you want? Why do you want this career? Why do you want this opportunity? What makes you qualified for this opportunity? Okay, having a clear, realistic goal will dictate your plan of action on how to reach it. So that's the good thing about knowing your career goals. It gives you time for you to plan strategically. And speaking of planning, you need to create a plan. Okay, so statistics says that most of the employed individuals are spending probably at least 15 hours of searching for opportunities. And for those who are not employed, it's gonna be twice or thrice this time frame. Okay, so it's definitely exhausting if you would be dictating a specific or a jam-packed schedule for you to just doing career search, and that's definitely exhausting mentally, physically, and psychologically. Okay, so you need to organize your schedule, you need to organize your search. Okay, identify your key points, ideal time frame of your search. That's one. Number two, what are the type of companies you'd like to be associated with, or the type of companies that you would like to penetrate? And then, when will you perform the search? So these are some of the key points that you need to understand when planning for your career search. Again, ideal time for your search, type of companies, and when will you perform the search. So that's how you create your plan. The next is for you to search for the right career. Okay, don't just apply and apply. Okay, it must be tailored. This opportunity that you want, it must be tailored for your interest. Okay, read the description of that opportunity, read about the company, read about the culture, so you would be able to have an initial understanding of what awaits you if ever you would be given this opportunity. So research, 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 prepare yourself of trying to get to know facts and information about this career opportunity. The next is for you to research about your target companies. Okay, so you need to have an understanding about their culture, their benefits, their salary range, the products, the services, what are they offering, what are their products, the work environment. So these are the things that you need to have an idea. Because when you enter an organization, when you start a career, all of these factors that I have mentioned, this would play along as you go and start that opportunity. Again, you need to have an initial understanding of the culture, the benefits, the products, the services, and the environment, because you yourself, you will be immersed in all of this. The next is for you to create and use your professional network. Okay. I'd like to get a pulse as well here on the chat box. Kindly type in L if you already have your LinkedIn account. Okay, so it seems that a big part of our participants are already having their LinkedIn account. Okay, that's good because you are already investing in creating or widening your network. Okay, I know most probably of you have your respective Facebook accounts, Twitter accounts, TikTok accounts, but I'd like to ask of you, invest in creating your LinkedIn accounts, okay? And that would pave the way of you networking, trying to connect with various individuals, professionals, people who can be your inspiration, okay? So don't just get settled with your Facebook account, with your TikTok account, with your Twitter account. Try and create your LinkedIn. And I'm telling you, your future will be much better because of this instrument. Okay. So creating and using your professional network means you are establishing and nurturing a mutual beneficial relationship with people within your network. Okay. A large and strong network leads to more opportunities that you can explore. Again, I would repeat that. A large and strong network leads to more opportunities that you can explore. And the thing here is that when you do networking, no matter what the age, it is one of the most effective ways that can help you in bettering and starting your career. So you need to find connections that you want to break into. You need to find connections in industries, in platforms, in opportunities that you would like to break into, because one one connection can lead to bigger and greater opportunities. So start networking your professional network. Okay, the next is apply with confidence. Okay, most of the young people right now are having second thoughts. Should they apply for this opportunity? Okay, here's the deal with that. If you are doubting this, if you are doubting yourself, if you fit for this opportunity, if you are fit for all the boxes that they are requiring, go for it. It's as simple as that. Don't second guess. Don't doubt yourself. If you are a fit, go for it. That is what applying with confidence is. Okay. And then the next is try the informational interview, or as what I call it, casual conversations. Okay. So casual conversation is a conversation between an aspiring individual who wants to be associated with that opportunity and someone who is already in the organization or experiencing that opportunity. Okay. Casual conversations are a result of good and successful networking opportunities. Okay. So casual conversations are informational conversations that allows you to learn more about the company, about the organization, about the opportunity, the culture, the environment. So this is a first-hand information that you are able to access through a person who is actually experiencing what you want to achieve. Okay. If we are talking here of a career opportunity, and if ever you were able to meet someone, don't go right off the bat that telling this person that you are looking for a job and can you get me in? Okay. Instead of telling that, you need to let them tell their stories. And then you need to ask for advice on how it can be applied to what you are aiming for. Okay? So the casual conversations is a result of a good networking opportunity, and it gives you the upper hand in terms of getting close to this opportunity that you are aiming for. Okay? So network, 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 continue networking. And then once you are good with that, you can perform the casual conversations, and it makes you one step closer to this opportunity that you are aiming for. And by the time that you have been applying for opportunities or exploring for opportunities, do follow up on the status of your application. Okay, the reason why I'm telling you this, it's because you don't, after you have after you were able to score a initial talk with the representative of that opportunity, you can get in touch to them and do a follow-up, because this opportunity, this follow-up, it would create the impression that you are promoting your candidacy for that opportunity, and it gives you that opportunity as well to highlight why are you qualified for this opportunity. And if ever you are able to forget something that you should be telling during that first round of a conversation, that's an opportunity for you to mention what you forgot to say. Okay. So the power of a follow-up inquiry is that you are promoting your candidacy of why are you suited, why are you a good match for this opportunity. Okay. So please do follow-ups. Okay. And then the last is be patient in your search. Okay, you have to understand that this is a process. Okay, it doesn't happen in a snap, it doesn't happen in a day. Okay, so I like for you to be patient because it takes in some time for us to produce results. Okay, some things are better savored when time is playing an important part with this searches. Okay, so be patient with your search. Okay, so these are the strategies that I'd like for you to take note of, and this will be beneficial for your career search. Okay, so hopefully you are able to learn through those strategies that I have shared. Okay, now that you have understand what are the strategies that you can imply for your career search, just like what I said a while ago, one of those is you need to have a targeted resume. So I'm going to share with you as well some resume writing tips that I find applicable, and this is through my years of experience as an HR practitioner, specifically focusing onto the recruitment into the talent acquisition stage of the HR. Okay, so the question that you need to start is, why is there a need for you to have a targeted? Why is there a need for you to have a very convincing profile? So your profile is a representation of you. And this is the employer's first impression about you. This is going to be a make or break moment for you as well. Statistically speaking, hiring managers or decision makers for hiring, they take around 5 to 8 seconds of looking into your profile. And that 5 to 8 seconds is very crucial. If your profile, if your resume is not that much impressive, chances are you're blowing your opportunity. Okay. You are not maximizing that opportunity. So in order for you to move forward to the next part or the next stage of this opportunity that you would like to pursue, you need to have a good profile. And from there, that would be your gate pass for you to be invited and prove yourself. Why are you worthy of this opportunity. Okay. However, you need to understand as well that having a good profile, having a great targeted resume does not guarantee that you would be able to be accepted for this opportunity that you're aiming for. Okay. Being accepted for that opportunity has to be proven on your end. You need to prove yourself further through that application process. The thing here is that through a good resume, you get the opportunity to prove yourself further for that opportunity. Okay, so make your targeted resume. Now, making a good profile, how are we going to do that? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there are only 2 points that you need to understand on how to make a good profile, and that is format and content. Okay, yes, everyone, 2 points that you need to consider: format and content, and that's it. In terms of format, this is how I liked it. Okay, so I'd like for you to keep it clean and simple, clear and straightforward. So that's what I mean when you say keeping the format clean and simple. Okay, and then in terms of your content, these are the things that you need to be able to capture in your profile. Okay, so the content of your profile should be able to capture all of this: the heading, the career highlights, the experience, the skills, the relative work information, and the education. So these are the information that you need to be captured in your content of the profile. Now, in terms of the heading, this is one of the most important part of your profile. So it must be able to capture the basic information: your name, your address, your email, your mobile number. And then as far as your email address is concerned, make sure that you have a professional email address. Okay. So gone are the days that your email address is the one that you've made when you were a teenager. So scrap that off. Make sure that your email address is professional. Okay. And then in terms of your mobile number, make sure that the mobile number that you would be indicating in your profile is active. Okay. And if you do have 2 or more mobile numbers, make sure that the number that you would be indicating first is the most active, because that's the first instinct of a practitioner, of an HR practitioner, to call the first number that they would be seeing in your profile. So we assume that if you put this number, despite of having multiple mobile numbers, that is the most active. Okay, so make sure that the number that you indicate first is the most active, or the one that you are using most of the time. Okay, and then in terms of your career highlights or professional summary, so as what you can see here on the example, this is your sales pitch. This is an overview of what you can possibly bring into the table. Okay, you have to understand that your profile is talking to the hiring manager or the person who would be making that decision whether to give you that opportunity. So your profile should be able to sell yourself. It should be able to talk to them and sell the idea of why are you best suited for this opportunity. Okay, so as you can see on the given example, so the profile of Albert Yip, so it says it says there that he's a targeted, self-motivated sales professional. So it captures everything that the people reading the resume, it gives them the idea of who is this person and what they can possibly bring into the organization. Okay, so take note, your professional summary is your sales pitch. And then in terms of experience, if you have experience, you need to understand that it should be in reverse chronological order. Okay, and you don't have to capture each and every function that you have performed through these opportunities. You just have to include the key functions or the highlights of these opportunities that you are able to perform. Okay, and if you are able to produce achievements during these engagements, please capture them as well. Okay, it's very important that your achievements could be captured in your respective profile, because it gives them the idea that this person is not just someone who's doing the job, but this person is someone who is also being recognized because they are efficient, they are effective, they can produce results. And that achievement part in your profile, it gives you better chances of making better impressions to the eyes of people who would be making that decision. Now, in terms of your skills, this is an optional part, okay? You can have it in the text form, you can have it in the graphics form, in the picture form. So these are more of a technical and essential skills that should be incorporated with the opportunity that you are aiming for, okay? So again, I'm telling you, it can be optional. You can have this be included. You can also have this be included. The decision is yours, whether to put the skills. And then other work-related information. So we're talking here of awards, achievements, certifications. So it gives the people looking into your profile that you are someone who's also committed in terms of development, personal and professional development. What are the awards? What are the achievements that you are able to produce? And it gives them the idea that you are someone who can produce these results and repeat these achievements by the opportunity that they are going to. So it gives them this idealization of you are someone who's not just performing the job, but you are someone who gets recognized for your efficiency, for your hard work, for your sincerity, and everything else. So putting your certifications, awards, achievements, that's going to be beneficial on your career. Okay, in terms of your education, definitely you need to capture that, okay? Now, in my career as an HR practitioner, I've seen some profiles who are, I mean, from applicants who are indicating their secondary and elementary education, okay? So here's my take on that. Don't include that anymore, because if you are able to land into college, that means that you are able to finish your secondary and your elementary education. Okay, so no need for your secondary and elementary education. So as far as your education is concerned, that's what's needed to be captured is probably the name of the university or the educational institution, the course or the specialization, and the time frame in which you started and completed this educational background, okay? And it doesn't matter whether it's a bachelor's degree, a master's, an associate's degree, or a diploma, as long as you are able to complete this educational journey, you can have it be captured to your profile. The most recent is probably on top until the very last educational attainment that you've had. Most probably master's and bachelor's degree, or associates, or diploma, a 2-year course, 3-year course. That's probably how are you going to have it on a chronological order. Okay, so if we are going to summarize all of these things that I have said, what makes a good profile? Number one, it should be targeted. It should be consistent. It should be well written. It should be concise. Your qualifications should be summarized. It should be self-promoting. It gives them the idea, or it should be a good sales pitch for the person reading your profile. It should be accurate as well, okay? Don't put information which you can't verify, okay? Don't put false information with your profile, okay? Because that's tampering information and you can be liable, or it could blow back to you if you would be indicating information which is not true, okay? Abbreviation free. So as much as possible, limit the usage of abbreviations. And then no personal informations. So this personal information, such as your birthday, the name of your father, the name of your mother, your SSS number, your BIR number, PhilHealth, Pag-ibig, and all of this, that would come along sooner or later on, okay? You need to understand as well that we are having a data privacy law. So this information should be protected, okay? So there would become a time in which this information would be requested in a legal way. So you don't have to capture this in your respective profiles. And then a good profile is also a profile which is grammatically correct. Okay. So proofread your profiles. Make sure that there are no grammatical errors in your respective profile. Okay. So that are the things that you need to check on your list on how are you going to make a good profile. Now, you have created your profile. The next thing is that you would be subjected for a conversation or an interview. Okay. So I'd also like to share with you some tips on how are you going to ace that conversation? How are you going to ace that interview? Okay. Number one is for you to be prepared physically and psychologically. Okay. Physically means you are focused. You had enough rest for you to prepare yourself for that conversation. And psychologically speaking, your head is in the game for that opportunity. Okay. You are focused on that moment of making a good impression during that conversation. Okay. So being prepared psychologically means you are focused on that opportunity. Now, you need to also know the basics of the role that you're applying for. So if ever your interviewer would be asking relevant questions relative to the role that you are applying for, you know how to respond and you know how to defend yourself of why are you qualified? Why are you interested for this opportunity? What are the skills, the expertise in your arsenal that can be related, that can be applied to the position that you are applying for? During the interview, I'd also like for you to be lively and spontaneous. Okay, it's very important that you need to keep the conversation lively and spontaneous. Engage with your interviewer because if your interviewer would have this impression that you are someone who is wasting their time, they would be ending this conversation. They would be ending this interview the fast they can so they can focus on other things, which is more important. Okay, so you need to be lively, you need to be spontaneous during an interview. And with your responses, you just have to keep them short and simple. Elaborate only when being asked. Okay, short and simple meaning go straight to the point. Okay, don't add too much bubble, don't add too much information. Go straight ahead to what the interviewer is asking you, and it saves time for the both of you. The next is why I want you to be engaging with your interviewer. Just like what I've said, being lively and being spontaneous during the interview means that you need to engage with your respective interviewer. And once you are able to engage your interviewer, the conversation is becoming more interesting. Your interviewer would have this idea, would have this mindset that you are someone that they would like to talk further. Okay, and that's a good thing for you. You are giving them the idea that you are someone that they should be interested with. And then when you are being asked about a task that you were able to perform, you just have to follow this acronym: situation, action, and result. Okay, so define the situation, tell about the situation. And then from there, once you have given them the idea of what is the situation all about, tell them what are the actions that you perform. How were you able to arrive? How were you able to decide that this would be the best action to perform? And once you have performed the action, what was the result of this action that you have performed? Okay, so it's a three-stage strategy: situation, action, result. Originally, this is the STAR method: situation, task, action, result. But if we are going to have it be simplified, it's going to be this: situation, action, and result method. During your interview as well, I'd like for you to take that opportunity to highlight your skills, your expertise, your achievements, because that is probably plus points on your side. Okay, it gives the interviewer an idea of how good you are and how good you are for this opportunity. Okay, because you have the necessary skills, the expertise, and you are someone who has produced achievements in line with what you do. So as they say, this is going to be plus points to your application. And then ask questions that are relevant to the role and the process. Okay, given that opportunity to ask question gives you the image that you are invested, that you are interested to this opportunity that you are aiming for. Okay, so whenever during a conversation, an interview, whenever you are given the opportunity to ask, please take that opportunity and ask relevant questions. Okay, again, relevant questions. Okay, don't just ask for the sake of asking, but ask relevant questions, because it would give the interviewer this image that you are someone who wants to get to know more about that opportunity, that you've done your research, that you've done your part in getting to know more about the opportunity, and you are someone who's hungry for this opportunity. Okay, and then don't get nervous. Okay, I know that being subjected on an interview or in a conversation with someone who is an expert in what they do is probably nerve-wracking. Okay, you have to remember that the reason why we are asking all of these questions, it's because we just wanted to know the answer to that question, and that answer would be coming from you. Okay, so we don't bite, we don't uh, we don't want to curse you or whatsoever. The reason why we are asking these questions because we wanted to know the answer to that question. So don't get nervous, okay? Just like what they say, when you get nervous or when this nervousness gets the whole of you, the battle has been lost. So don't get nervous, okay? So another thing that's gonna be beneficial with your search for opportunities is the career stories method. Okay, so career stories method are sharing stories that would be beneficial on your end, and this would give you an this would give the interviewer an idea of where are you being aligned at. Okay, so these are the stories that interviewers like me would love to normally hear, and this is gonna be beneficial on your side. Okay, so the first part of career stories method is stories about passion. Okay, we love hearing stories about passion. Okay, what makes you be interested? Are you passionate about something? Are you passionate about what the organization is doing? Will your passion be aligned with the company? Is there a common denominator or a common connection between you and that organization, between you and that opportunity? What drives you, what motivates you? It should be aligned on how an organization, how an opportunity services the target customers. Okay, so tell stories that captures your passion. The next is stories about problem solving. Okay, so these are stories on the how were you able to organize. These are stories about how were you able to solve a certain problem. Okay, so whenever you are telling a story that highlights your problem solving skills, you need to apply the big picture approach. Okay, so the big picture approach answers these questions. Number one, what was the problem? Number two, why did the problem existed? The next is what is it that you do for you to address that problem? And the last is what's the outcome of that action? Okay, so that is the big picture mindset. So similar to what I have discussed a while ago, the situation, action, result method, you can have that be applied. Okay, and then the next is stories about value. Okay, each and every one of us, we are expected to contribute one way or another. Okay, so tell stories that pertains to where do you add the greatest value, where do you make the greatest impact, what are the contributions that you have done for that opportunity, for this organization. You don't have to be, I mean, it doesn't need to be about increasing profits or decreasing expenses. The thing here is, where did you create the biggest impact? Where did you contributed in terms of value? What were you able to bring to the organization? What were you able to contribute with what you do? And then the next is developing people. Okay, so when it comes to developing people, it actually doesn't matter if you are an entry level, an intermediate, professional, a supervisor, a manager, a head level. The question here is that, did you have the opportunity to help someone be better? Did you have that opportunity to help someone improve for themselves? Okay, so were you able to inspire someone? Were you able to influence someone? It can be a person, it can be a team, it can be a customer. So these are the kind of stories pertaining to developing people. How were you able to inspire, to influence, to help people? And then the next is customer service. Okay, so we have customers. Okay, we all have customers, whether that's internally or externally. Tell stories about how were you able to serve a customer in great detail, in great fashion. Okay, so these are the stories that people would love to hear from your end. Stories about passion, about problem solving, about value, developing people, and customer service. There are other stories that you can share as well, but on my list, these are the top 5 stories that's going to be beneficial on your search for opportunities. Okay, so I hope that helps on your end. As I end the first part of this talk, of this learning session, I'd like for you to take this, make that awesome profile, ace that interview, and claim your career.